Yeah, what's up?
Okay, that's good. Okay.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما. أما بعد فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله وخير الهدى هدى محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة دلالة وكل دلالة في النار. Verily all praise and all magnification and all dedication and all aspiration should be for Allah and Allah alone. And I publicly, like I did September the 2nd, 1991, I declared and attested to the whole world that there is nothing or no one that deserves to be worshipped other than Allah Ta'ala, and that Al-Mustafa Al-Amin As-Sadiq Al-Masduq Nabi Muhammad Sallallahu is the last of finality of messenger sent to guide mankind from the darkness into the light. When I embraced Islam, ya akhwan, back in 1991, I met a plethora of Muslims from different backgrounds, different lands, different madhabs, different languages. And many of them, they came to me and they said, as a new Muslim, Akhi, what's your Aqeedah? What's your madhab? What's your Aqeedah? What's your madhab? So for a new Muslim who's just learning who Allah is and who His Messenger is and learning the basics of Islam, I was blessed, ya ikhwan, to meet some brothers that were 10, 15, 20 years older than me who embraced Islam, 10, 20 years before me, who went and studied Islam in the lands of the Muslims. And they went in, they got degrees. Some of them got masters, some of them got BAs, and some got PhDs. And they're all people who embraced Islam. Those are the original people who taught me Islam, ya ikhwan. Before any immigrant came and taught me about Islam, the people from my community came and they taught me Islam, ya ikhwan. The question came, brother, what's your Aqeedah? What's your belief system, akhi? What is it that you believe in? Now that you're Muslim, do you believe that Elijah Muhammad is Allah? I said, no, I don't believe that. I'm not with the Nation of Islam. Do you believe there's a spaceship coming to take all the black people up into the sky because they've been oppressed for so long? I said, no, I don't believe that. So the question came, what is your belief, brother? What is your belief, Ya Ikhwan? And the question comes, Ya Ikhwan, are we supposed to have a strong belief? Are we told in the book of Allah that we have to have iman, have to have strong belief? أعوذ بالله السميع العليم من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وقال الله تعالى, Allah Ta'ala says, يا أيها الذين آمنوا, O you who have iman, O you have belief, آمنوا بالله ورسوله. Allah commands us after this, O you who believe in Allah and His Messenger. Now the question comes, Ya Ikhwan, as you're growing up as a Muslim, trying to learn the religion, Ya Ikhwan, many of our brothers, they were handed Islam down from their ancestors. Their father was a Muslim, their grandmother was a Muslim, so the religion of the family is Islam. That wasn't the case with me, Ya Ikhwan. I come from a diverse multiplicity of different backgrounds, where my parents and my grandparents and my great-grandparents are mixed with so many things. The religion that has been promoted to our family for the last 150 years is something called the Baptist Christian religion, Ya Ikhwan. So when I became a Muslim, it was very fascinating for me, Ya Ikhwan, to want to know the religion and to speak knowledgeable about the religion, because my family, Ya Ikhwan, they weren't Muslims. So the question keeps coming up, brother, what's your Aqeedah, brother? What do you believe in? وقال الله تعالى فإن الله غني عنكم ولا يرضى لعباده الكفر. Allah Ta'ala goes on to say, Allah is not in need of you. He doesn't like disbelief for His servants, Ya Ikhwan. Allah, He doesn't need me. Allah, He doesn't need you. Allah, He doesn't need us. We need Allah, Ya Ikhwan. And if you want to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, and we want to understand our religion, then we need to study our religion, Ya Ikhwan, from the original sources. قال الله تعالى, this is another ayah. فَآمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ. Allah Ta'ala again is emphasizing to believe in Allah and His Messenger. So, Ya Ikhwan, we have the Book of Allah. We have the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. We have the Seerah of the Prophet ﷺ. But أَنَا أَسْأَلَكُمْ أَنْتَ مَعِي. Are you with me, brothers? If I was to ask you some basic questions about the Aqeedah of the Muslims, you'll find, Ya Ikhwan, many of the Muslims, they can't answer the basic questions. So, Ya Ikhwan, as a person who became Muslim, I used to not want to get drunk before Islam. I did not like drinking. I did not like smoking. I did not getting high with all the people that are around me. I wanted to always keep my intellect salima, Ya Ikhwan, upright so I can think. And I realized, Ya Ikhwan, that there's a few things that a person has to have. Number one, they need to have textual evidence. They need to have logical evidence. And they need to have sensible proof, Ya Ikhwan. So from the textual evidence, Ya Ikhwan, that I found in the Book of Allah, وَقَالَ اللَّهُ تَعَالَى فَاعْلَمْ أَنَّهُ لَا إِلَهَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. Allah Ta'ala says, and know, K-N-O-W, and know, have knowledge, have certainty, that there is nothing or no one that deserves to be worshipped except for Allah. It's not something you just guess, you have to have strong knowledge. Logical evidence, Ya Ikhwan, is facts over fiction. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, Incredible Hulk, all these different things that they spend billions of dollars, Ya Ikhwan, creating these personalities that you'll find sometimes the children are wearing Batman, Superman, Spider-Man, and all types of different things. And money is spent to wear Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. And people go and they buy and they watch movies, and I grew up watching those movies, Ya Ikhwan, respecting them, loving them, having adoration for these imaginary creatures, Ya Ikhwan. Billions of dollars are spent. And even the Muslims get caught up in this from some time, brothers. The question is, when was the last time that our family, we went to the Islamic bookstore, which is shrinking and leaving us? Most of the bookstores are soon within the next 10, 20 years, there will be no bookstores. And we went and we bought the Seerah of the Prophet ﷺ to learn and to teach it to our family about the life of the best man who ever worked, who ever walked on the earth. And the sensible proof, Ya Ikhwan, and this is something that I used to argue with my non-Muslim family at the time, God cannot die. They used to say that God died and then He raised up 3 days later. I never believed that, Ya Ikhwan, growing up with them, that God could die. So, ya ikhwan, textual evidence, logical evidence, and sensible proof, ya ikhwan. And the thing of it is, ya ikhwan, Muslims say, but brother, I think I understand, about the deen. Alhamdulillah, our family's been Muslim for 1,000 years. Listen to what Allah Ta'ala says. Allah Ta'ala says, قُلْ أَأَنْتُمْ أَعْلَمْ عَمِ اللَّهِ. Allah Ta'ala says, are you more knowledgeable? Or is Allah more knowledgeable? Are you more knowledgeable about Allah? Or is Allah more knowledgeable about Himself? So we see what Allah says about Himself, and that's it. And we say what the Prophet ﷺ says about himself, meaning Allah Ta'ala, and also his attributes, and that's it, ya ikhwan. People nowadays, ya ikhwan, there are people that have started a movement that have tried to create doubt in the mind of the young Muslims, ya ikhwan, about Allah Azza wa Jal. And it's become so much of a fitna, ya ikhwan, the phone calls that I'm getting, and some of my friends are getting, where some of the young Muslim kids are saying, well, I can't see Allah, how do I know that He's really there? Is Allah all-powerful? They're asking all these types of questions. And most of the Muslims are not equipped to answer these questions, ya ikhwan, because they've never studied Islam, ya ikhwan. وقال Allah Ta'ala, Allah Ta'ala talks about, ya ikhwan, His abilities. And today we wanted to talk about Allah Ta'ala, His asma'ihi wa sifatihi wa dhatihi wa af'alihi, ya ikhwan. This is a science talking about Allah Rabbul Izzah, ya ikhwan. Allah, His attributes, sifatihi wa af'alihi, His actions, His dhati, His divine being. These are the things that are important, ya ikhwan. Because if you are worshipping Allah, and we said this a few times in the masjid, and you answer your phone while the salat is going on, then you don't have a clue who Allah Azza wa Jalla is. وقال Allah Ta'ala, إِنَّ رَبَّكَ فَعَالٌ لِمَا يُرِيدُ. Allah Ta'ala says, indeed your Lord does what He wishes. He does what He wishes, ya ikhwan. He is all powerful. If He wants to send a hurricane, or a storm, or if He wants to send, ya ikhwan, earthquake, there's no manpower that can stop it, ya ikhwan. If you were capsized in the ocean, ya ikhwan, and you had 1,000 big, strong, powerful, weightlifting men, and you fell down into the ocean, and you said, we got all these big, strong, powerful, 7 feet tall basketball players, they're going to save us from the ocean crashing down on us. As a Muslim, you have to sit there and say, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Those strong men, they can't protect you, ya ikhwan. If you're on the roads, going up north, and the roads are icy, ya ikhwan, a big, strong, powerful machine can fall off of the road, ya ikhwan, because the power belongs to Allah, the izzah belongs to Allah, and the might, it belongs to Allah Azza wa Jalla, ya ikhwan. So when we're talking about, ya ikhwan, and this issue, it's a little bit scholastic, but there's been some people that are wondering, how do I get to my kids? How do I get them to understand the religion? We're talking about usul sunnah, wa usul deen, wa i'tiqad deen. We're talking about the foundations and the fundamentals of this religion. The things that put our religion together, where are we going to get it from? Are we going to get it just from fulan wa alan? What is the methodology, ya ikhwan? The methodology, ya ikhwan, has been laid down 1,000 years ago, ya ikhwan. More than 1,400 years ago. And it is called in Arabic, asanid al-thabita al-sahiha, established authentic chains. What did the Prophet ﷺ believe? What did the Sahaba believe? What did the Tabi'een believe? And what did the Itba' Tabi'een and any righteous Imams that came after them and followed their particular way? That's how we have to understand Islam. If someone comes and they have a PhD, and they come and they start saying some things that you've never heard before, you have to say, brother, I need proof from the Quran and the Sunnah to establish what you're saying. Because there are some people nowadays, brother, they have been promoting saying that Gog and Magog is not true. There's 2 verses in the Quran that say that Gog and Magog are true. So do we believe those PhD imams who just erase verses from the Quran because he has a PhD? We listen to them because he's popular? Or do we say, nah, man, bro, you got something wrong with you. Man, and who are you? Oh, I have a PhD. No, we take our religion from the scholars who came from the past, ya ikhwan. And what they call the Ashraf al-Ulum, or the Ashraf al-Ulum al-Tawheed, al-Tawheed al-Sifat wal-Kamal wal-Jamal. Knowing Allah, His names and His attributes, ya ikhwan, they're perfect. When we're making dua, how do we start our dua? We usually say, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the most gracious, the most merciful. And you'll find almost every ayah, or every second ayah, or every third ayah, you'll find Allah bringing His attributes. So you can comprehend Allah. He is the all-knowing. He is the all-seeing. He is the all-hearing. So how could you lie? How could you cheat? How could you steal, ya akhwan? How could a Muslim, even if he's an imam and he memorized the Quran, how could he go in the zakat box or steal money from people for Hajj or do many deplorable things which we've heard of in the past? Did he not know that Allah was the all-seeing? Did he not know that Allah is the all-hearing? Did he not know that Allah is the all-knowledgeable? It shows, ya akhwan, that we have some khalal in our fahm, some misunderstanding. So, ya akhwan, books were written, ya akhwan, to establish, and this is the point why, ya akhwan, we need to study our belief system. The scholars who are better than me and you, we're talking the real scholars who lived 1,000 years ago, not people like me who are just a muballigh. I went and I researched something and I came up here and I'm making a presentation because other better people are better than me. The scholars have penned down. And the Muslims, they used to be proud of this Islamic heritage. Where you go to someone's house and there's books filled on the shelves with Islamic belief. Now the Muslims, they don't want that. I said to some brothers, the brother has his new book out. Oh, can I get the PDF? Can I get the PDF, Akhi? Akhi, you can't spend $5, $10, $20 to get a book that maybe your grandkids can hold on to the book and say, hey man, this book actually exists. No, I need the PDF. Okay, what happens if your phone dies? And someone asks you something and you go, oh, well, let me look at my PDF. The phone's dead. How are you going to access it? Or the phone crashes. So yeah, when we have become so lazy that we don't know and we don't want to know what the scholars pen these books for, is something what they call a taqreeb al-ma'na. A taqreeb al-ma'na, ya akhwan, is a technical term which means that they tried to bring the knowledge close to the people, the lay people like me and you, where they went into the Quran and they went into the Sunnah, and then they typed up or they put together different topics. For instance, the Surat al-Mustaqim, they brought every ayah about the Surat al-Mustaqim, every hadith. They talked about the angels, they brought every ayah about the angels, every hadith. They talked about the Dajjal, they brought every ayah, every hadith. They brought these topics together, ya akhwan, so you can find it in different books. And you don't have to look around, I don't have to look around. You can just look in certain books like Riyadh al-Salihin, where everything is put together so nicely. How to pray, how to fast, how to make tawbah, how to give zakat. So many topics, they put it together, taqreeb al-ma'na. So you can just go there and you can get the closest meaning to you, and you can just take a bite size and you can eat it and you can understand the basics of the religion. But we have become lazy, O Ummah Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The soccer game is on. The basketball game is on. The movie is coming out. We have to go barbecue. We're going to the new restaurant. MashaAllah, we have to go to Walmart. We spend 5 minutes a day, brothers. Just 5 minutes a day. Reading tafsir. Reading some books on the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ and to see his struggle, we become better Muslims. With that, أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله وأستغفر الله وأستغفر الله. الحمد لله حمد كثيرا طيبا مباركا فيه كما يحب ربنا ويرضى. The usul and the furu'. This is something I had to learn as a new Muslim. The usul, the fundamentals and the foundations, and the furu', the subsidiary branches of the religion. So when it comes to the usul, ya akhwan, the usul is our aqeedah, our doctrine, our basics of our religion, what our belief system is based upon. And the furu' is the ahkam and the fiqh that we practice. Very simple. The Prophet ﷺ, he spent 13 years teaching the Muslims of Mecca the importance that God is one. After 13 years of grueling hardship, embargoes, being killed, being punished, food not coming to them, being excommunicated from the community, finally they made the hijrah and they went to Mecca. Then the Prophet ﷺ taught what would be known as the fiqh, how to pray, how to fast, how to give zakat, how to do this. All these other things came after the 13 years of just trying to get people to understand that God is one and don't associate any partners with Him, and all the actions you should be doing should be for Allah. So, ya akhwan, the aqeedah, what does it mean? It means to knot, to solidify, to fix, to bind, to fixate your belief system deep in your heart. You know Allah, He is the all-knowing, the all-seeing, the all-hearing. He is in control of everything. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. And it is unwavering. The aqeedah is something that someone can come to you with some weird statements and it doesn't shake you because you believe in what Allah and His Messenger said. Someone can come to you with some philosophy and some crazy stuff. You should say, A'udhu billah min shaitan rajim. Amantu billah wa thumma istaqim. If someone comes to you with some doubts, say to them, I believe in Allah, and then remain upfront. So yeah, why do we study this? The Aqeedah, or the Usul, compared to other sciences of the religion, is like the foundation of a building, or the foundation of a tree. It's roots of the tree. A building cannot stand except with strong foundation, and the tree will not stand without firm roots. So a Muslim's actions and his knowledge will not be a benefit unless it's built upon strong conviction. So a hurricane comes and it destroys a whole village. And I've seen this on YouTube. And the Muslims, what did they say? Hasbi Allah wa ni'mal wakil. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Qadru Allah wa ma shafa'a. Whatever Allah willed, it happened. And they keep going on with their life. And non-Muslims would come to them and said, your house is gone. Oh my gosh, what do you think? Wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. This is the qadr of Allah. Allah has some wisdom in this. We repent to Allah for the sins, and we're going to rebuild. The non-Muslim was not like that. They go to the liquor store and they try to drink their problems away. They go to the cannabis store and they try to smoke their problems away. And they find, that they're in a cycle. And many of my members of my family, they're like this. They go into a cycle, either they're smoking, sipping, or drinking, or they're snorting cocaine, to get away from their problems. The Muslim is not like this. So this is the most important thing, is that one, he finds, it's more important, our belief system, than food, drink, clothing. And it is one, of the things that we need to, will truly make us happy in our life, I'm happy to be Muslim, I'm so happy to be Muslim. Before I became Muslim, the lifestyle that I was living, most of the friends that I grew up with, they're not dead, or they have some serious illnesses, Islam kept me away from all of that. It kept me from the clubs. It kept me from the drugs. It kept me from the streets. It kept me from the gangs and the guns and the knives. It kept me from many things, I'm happy, So the question is now, is if our belief is faulty, if it's corrupt, or if it's absent, how will we live our life, We're going to go into the grave and we're going to be asked the three most important questions. And it's from our belief system. And before the salah, you hear the adhan. In between the adhan, you say, Raditu billahi rabban, wa bil islam dinan, wa bi Muhammadin nabiyyan aw rasulan. I am pleased with Allah as my Lord, with Islam as my religion, and with the Nabi or the Rasul as my prophet, These are the questions that we're going to be asked when we go into the grave, my dear brothers. And ending with that, it will have a negative effect on us if we're away from this, and being away from Allah. These actions will destroy us, if we don't know. And the strongest proof that I found, is in Surah Al-Asr, wal-Asr. Inna al-insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu as-salihat. Mankind, Allah Ta'ala is saying, is in a state of loss, perpetual loss, except for those who have Iman and those who do the good actions. So my dear brothers, we need to get our act together, my dear brothers. Life is really short. There are some books, inshallah ta'ala, that anybody that would like to find out after the Jumu'ah, we can tell you which books to read. The Quran is the best book. If you're reading that every day, you're going to find those ayats. But the question is, are you reading the tafsir of those ayats? Are you reading a translation? Many people can quote the Quran, but when you ask them, what does that verse mean? They don't have a clue yet. Perfect example. I'm going to end it with this. I went to 2 Muslim countries in my life to try to study the Arabic language. And some of these Muslims, if you hear them recite the Quran, it'll make you shed tears. Their recitation is so beautiful. And it seems as if that's all that the Muslims are worried about, is beautiful recitation, which is important. I went and I see with my own eyes, Muslims take their head and put it down to the grave of a so-called saint, Did they not hear the ayah? إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. If they didn't understand that ayah, then they wasted their life, I went to a masjid, it had 7,000 people in it, that's the capacity. And in the masjid, there's a grave of Fulan wa Alan. And after the salat, they go and they make dua, and they ask Fulan, oh Fulan, my wife, she's not pregnant. Help her become pregnant. Oh Fulan, my children, I don't have any. Oh, Fulan, help me do this. I got to get a job. Making intercession with this particular individual as opposed to Allah. But if you hear them recite the Quran, it'll make you cry. Question is, did they understand the meaning of Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in? This is from our Aqeedah. My dear brothers, take time to read the Quran and ponder over it and think about it. Don't just read it only for hasna and barakah, but read it for understanding and tatbiqiha. Tatbiqiha is implementation. With that, هذا ما عندي وصلى الله وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك وأشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. May Allah make us better Muslims and practice and understand Islam properly.